Are you ready, Ms. Wenzel? Yes. We are now going to hear the evidence of Colonel Naidoo, to whom Colonel Rulofse referred in his evidence. In accordance with the order that I made yesterday, he is not present here in this hearing room, but he will be heard here, and when he's asked questions, he will hear the questions and be able to give an answer. He has already been sworn, so the oath has been administered to him. But when we start, I'll just get him to confirm that the oath has been administered to him. But before we get there, Ms. Wenzel, is there anything you want to say before we start?
No, not at this stage.
Do you not want to explain how he will deal with the question of identities of some of the implicated persons, so that
yes, Chair.
Everybody knows, so that when you get to that stage, people don't
yes.
Wonder what's happening.
Yes, Chair. I was going to deal with it with Colonel Naidoo so that he could also understand why we're doing what we're doing, but I can just as well...
I think just say it for the public, and then you can repeat it with him later.
Yes. In Colonel Naidoo's statement, because he was involved in crime intelligence, a good number of the people referred to in his statement either are or were or may have been agents of crime intelligence, or also informers. Because of this, a letter was addressed to crime intelligence asking them to state who are the actual agents involved in covert operations, because it was Colonel Naidoo's view that the vast majority of people who were placed into the agent program were placed into that program as a result of nepotism. However, General Jacobs of Crime Intelligence has responded to the request, but in view of the fact that it is not 100% clear from the response as to who in fact are agents or whose safety may be compromised should their identity be revealed, as a matter of caution, we've taken the decision that we will nevertheless redact the names of all the people who could possibly be an agent, and we will only refer to them by reference to a number, which will be FM1, FM2, FM3, etc. DCJ, we have provided you with those names in a sealed envelope, so that for your purposes you will know the names, but during the course of the testimony, these people will only be referred to by number.
Of course, you will make further efforts to obtain clarity on the persons who were agents or informers, or are still agents and informers among the people that he implicates, or the group in respect of which you previously requested clarity, because it was not clear exactly who falls under what. So it may well be, or what is contemplated is that once clarity is obtained, then certain names would be or could be revealed if those people were not or are not agents or informers. And in which case, if during Colonel Naidoo's evidence he has referred to them as FM1 or FM2 or FM3, it will be indicated what acronym or number was used for that person in due course. But to try and not compromise the identity of people who might be involved in sensitive intelligence work, we will use the numbers. Will they all start with FM?
Yes, Chair.
FM and then a number?
Yes, Chair.
Yes. Okay, all right. No, that's fine then.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Are we now connected? Colonel Naidoo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
You can. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Thank you very much for availing yourself to give evidence in proceedings of this commission. We appreciate it very much that you have availed yourself. Various measures have been taken in accordance with an order that I issued to try and ensure that your situation is protected as somebody who is in the witness protection program. But before we start, I just want you to confirm that you are the Colonel Naidoo who was referred to by Colonel Rulofse in his evidence before the commission.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Do you confirm that you have taken an oath to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth when giving evidence in the commission?
I do confirm, Chair.
And that you have indicated that you consider the oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Wenzel will then ask you questions to lead your evidence. Ms. Wenzel?
Thank you, Chair. Colonel Naidoo, what are your full names?
Dhanajaya Naidoo.
And is it correct that you were approached by investigators from the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture and requested to give evidence in these hearings?
That's correct.
And that the request resulted from certain disclosures that you made to Colonel Rulofse from the Hawks during criminal investigations undertaken by him into certain fraudulent activities involving the Secret Services account at Crime Intelligence.
That's correct.
Do you understand that in testifying at this commission, you may potentially incriminate yourself?
I do.
And this evidence is given freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Colonel Naidoo, have you been offered a Section 204 indemnity to testify in any of the criminal cases to be prosecuted by Colonel Rulofsa and the State Prosecuting Authority in any of the criminal matters that you have described in your affidavit?
Yes, I am in fact a Section 204 witness with regards to the criminal cases that are still pending.
And can you tell the Chair whether this offer was made to you before you informed Colonel Rulofsa of the nature of the fraud and corruption perpetrated by members at Crime Intelligence, or after this?
After the information that I've given to Colonel Rulofsa.
Could you just briefly at this stage detail the circumstances, if you could just detail those events, how that happened?
Chair, if I may, with your permission,
Yes.
before we start,
Yes.
there's an incident that I'd like to bring or place on record before the Commission.
Yes.
Actually happened on Wednesday this week.
Yes.
I got word that one of my close relatives, their home was broken into. This might just be a random act of criminality,
Yes.
or a direct result as to maybe to send me a message to intimidate me or to deter me from testifying at this commission, Chair.
Yes.
So I just wanted to place that on record.
Yes. What happened to?
There was a break-in, there was a home invasion, Chair.
Oh, there was a break-in.
Yeah.
Was that? Did you say it was at the house of a relative of
A
yours?
close relative of
Close
mine.
relative of yours.
Yes, Chair.
Oh, but you say it could be just normal criminality, or it could be connected with attempts to intimidate you.
Chair, it's due to the close proximity of my testifying at this commission.
Yes.
I can't rule out that it is
Yes.
maybe a concerted effort to intimidate or deter me from testifying at these hearings.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Has the matter been reported to the relevant authorities already or not?
Chair, at this stage, the information that I have is very limited.
Yes.
But with your permission, Chair, if I may suggest that the investigations into this matter be escalated to the Hawks, so they can see if there is, in fact, a link to the robbery itself and to me testifying at these hearings.
Yes. Okay. Ms. Wenzel, just make sure that you get in touch with the Hawks or somebody or in the legal team. Get in touch with the Hawks so that they can look into the matter urgently.
Yes, Chair, I will do that.
Yes, okay, that will be done, Colonel Naidoo.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Let me take this opportunity to check that everybody in the room can hear everybody. Okay, thank you. All right, let's continue.
Colonel Naidoo, I am assuming that you have a bundle in front of you that is marked Exhibit KK 1.1 and KK 1.2.
That's a lever arch file, huh?
Yes.
Have you got a lever arch file, Colonel Naidoo, that is marked on the spine, Exhibit KK 1.2 and Exhibit KK 1.2?
That's correct.
1.1 and 1.2.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay.
And Colonel Naidoo, if you have a look at the numbers on the top right-hand side, you'll see your initials, DGN, and then it says in red 001. Those are the page numbers. So when I refer you to a page, it'll be 1, 2. I'm not going to say DGN-001. I'll just say 1, 2, 3, or whatever. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And the document the bundle that's in front of you, is this the affidavit that you have given to the Commission, which appears from pages 1 to 70?
That's correct.
And is it correct that you have also deposed to an affidavit, which is Exhibit KK 1.2, and that is a supplementary affidavit to support your application in camera, and that appears at pages 141 to 153. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Chair, if I might place these exhibits into evidence, marked KK 1.1 and KK 1.2.
The liver arch file containing you see, I think where you have a supplementary affidavit, there was no need to give it a separate exhibit number. So that causes confusion.
It causes confusion.
Because all the liver arch files, you just have one. So once you say inside the same liver arch file there is exhibit, there are exhibit KK 1.2 and exhibit KK 1.2. It causes confusion, especially because they can all go into one file.
Yes,
but we now have to be careful. If you are not going to, is the numbering in terms of the red numbers sequential from page 1 up to the end, or does it change somewhere and start from 1 again?
No, it's sequential.
Because if that is so, we can actually delete any reference to exhibit KK 1.2 and simply say the liver arch file and its contents are exhibit KK 1.1, and it starts from page 1 up to whatever. And as long as you bear in mind where the supplementary affidavit is, that should be enough. Is that fine?
Yes, that's perfectly fine.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, all right. So the liver arch file containing the statement of Colonel Dhanajaya Naidoo will be marked as exhibit KK 1.1. So what will remain is that we just change this so that there is no reference to KK 1.2.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, Colonel Naidoo, if we talk about exhibit KK 1.1, it will be the liver arch file in front of you and its contents.
I follow, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, if I might just mention one thing to you before we start leading the evidence, is at page 70, you will notice that the place and identity of the commissioner has been redacted. Chair, you
Yes.
will have a complete version, but this was done in order to conceal the place where the affidavit was attested to.
So there is an affidavit which has got everything,
Yes.
because the one I have in front of me doesn't have that as well.
I understood it did. I apologize, Chair. I will make sure that you will have the one that has everything.
Okay, all right. Yes, continue.
Colonel Naidoo, Could you explain the sequence of events from when you first consulted Colonel Rulofsir and when you first requested Section 204 immunity from prosecution?
Chair, if I may, with your permission, there's in this time frame of 18th, or rather September, when I was initially interviewed by Colonel Rulofsir, that was just a once-off interview. And then I go to the 18th of October 2011 to the 21st of October 2011. Within those days, there are pockets of incidents that happened during this time frame.
Yes.
If I can just
if you
lay
can
out
start with them.
the timeline for the record.
Yes, no, that's fine. You can start with them.
Chair, this is just an overview.
Yes.
I was employed in the SAPS as a member stationed at CI, head office, as a clerk. During my service,
Yes.
myself and various other members were involved in the looting of the funds from the Secret Service account.
Mm-hmm.
This we did on instruction of mainly General Lazarus, together with General Mdluli, Colonel Hein Barnard. Chair, in September, I was approached via Commissioner Henkel, General Henkel, sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry, Colonel Naidoo. Just remind me again, you did give the time frame from when to when, what period are we talking about in 2011 when these incidents happened? I just want to be reminded of that.
We'll start on the 18th of October 2011
Yes.
up to the 21st of October 2011.
Okay. Yes.
Chair, before I go there, I just want to go to September 2011.
Yes.
This is when I was first approached by the Hawks, more especially Colonel Rulofsir, via General Henkel. He wanted an interview with me to explain certain aspects of crime intelligence. I can't remember the exact date, Chair. It was probably around the latter part of September 2011. This interview was conducted at the Crime Intelligence Head Office. Myself, Colonel Rulofsir, and General Henkel was present.
Yes.
It was not a very long interview, Chair. It was just more administrative to explain agent files, etc. Probably an hour or so and a meeting was done. Subsequent to that, Chair, in the 18th
Or do you want to, is there anything you want to tell me about the content of the discussions on that hour-long interview, more or less?
Chair, that was more or less to explain the agents' files. At that stage, I was handling 7 agents.
Yes.
It was basically administrative. I had to explain how I got to handling these agents.
Or how you operate?
Not really how the operations of it, Chair. It was just more administrative because at that stage I had to explain their salaries, their medical aid payments.
Yes.
So that was done in that hour-long interview.
Okay. Yes.
I was subsequently asked again to meet with Colonel Rulofsir. Again via General Henkel. This was on the 18th and 19th of October 2011.
Yes.
Chair, on the 18th of October, I met with Colonel Rulofsir and Lieutenant Colonel Piet Viljoen of the Hawks at their offices in Pretoria and Silverton. It was regarding crime intelligence and the alleged looting of the account, Chair. On the first day, Chair, I was quite reluctant or hesitant not to cooperate with the investigation, but I had quite a lot of information that I needed to speak about, and I didn't know if I could trust them at that stage, Chair.
At that stage, had they officially asked you if you could tell them certain information or not yet?
Sure.
They were just having discussions with you without necessarily asking you to give them sensitive information.
Chair, if I can remember correctly, on the 18th, there were certain questions put to me by Colonel Rolofsa and Lieutenant Colonel Piet Viljoen, which I answered honestly. I didn't lie to them about anything. Like I said, I had so much information and I didn't know if I could trust them. That was the first day of the 18th. However, on the 20th, the next day, which is the 19th, Chair, out of my own accord, I decided to take them into my confidence and explain all of the allegations, or made numerous allegations to them regarding the looting of the Secret Service account.
The Secret Service account, the looting of the Secret Service account.
At large, crime intelligence, Chair, but
Yes.
it was more the Secret Service account because this is situated within crime intelligence.
Yes. So this would have been on the 19th of October 2011?
Yes, Chair.
Yes, okay. So that was Colonel Rolofse and Henk, did you say Colonel Henkel?
It was, no, Chair, it was Colonel Rolofse and Colonel Piet Viljoen.
Piet Viljoen.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, okay. Continue.
This had disclosed on the 19th of October to the various allegations of the looting of the account, including myself, by members of crime intelligence, including myself.
Yes.
On the same day, 19th October 2011, sorry, Chair, I'm just trying to get my
Your dates.
timelines in
Yes.
order. Going back to the 18th,
Yes.
after my interview on the first day, I went back to my office, and General Lazarus wanted to know what the Hawks were questioning me about.
The 18th of October, that interview on the 18th of October, is that the one that you said was about an hour long?
No, that was in September, Chair.
Oh, that was in September.
September of the same year, 2011.
But the 18th October one was the second interview with them,
That's correct, Chair.
with Colonel Rolofse
That's
and
correct.
whoever he was with.
Yes, Chair.
Okay, all right, yes. So you say after the interview of the 18th of October 2011, General Lazarus spoke to you.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, continue.
During the 18th, I'll call it the first day, although it's not the first day, but
Yes.
because of the time frame.
Yes.
If I can remember correctly, there was a question put to me by the investigating team if any members of crime intelligence had their premises rented by crime intelligence. And I answered honestly. I explained to Colonel Rolofse that General Mdluli and General Lala, their premises were being rented by CI. When I'm going back to the afternoon, when I went back to my office,
Yes.
and I explained to General Lazarus that I did concede or confirm that I've confirmed with the Hawks that this was indeed the case in terms of the rental of the premises from the two generals. He was quite furious with me and asked me...
I'm sorry, may I just interrupt you?
Yes, Chair.
Just to get certain things straight. The first interview with the Hawks, your first interview with the Hawks was sometime in September 2011. That is the interview which you say related to administrative issues, is that right?
That's correct, Chair, regarding agents that I was handling at the time.
Yes. And then the second interview is the one that happened on the 18th of October 2011, is that right?
That's correct, Chair. That was almost a day long, almost entire day, Chair.
Yes. Now, is that the one where you say you had decided to tell them many of the things that you knew which related to corruption and looting of the Secret Service account?
No, Chair.
Or is that on the 19th?
On the 18th, this was on the 18th of October, where certain questions were put to me regarding certain aspects of criminality within CI, which I indeed answered honestly and correctly, or I would say honestly.
Yes, okay, but with regard to the 18th, you were simply answering questions that
were put to me,
that
Chair.
they were putting to you.
Yes, Chair.
And that's the day where, in respect of which you say you were not sure whether you could trust them or not
That's
at that
correct,
stage.
Chair.
So you knew you had knowledge of a lot of things that were happening, but you were not sure whether you could trust them. But insofar as the questions that they put to you, you say you answered those questions honestly.
That's correct, Chair.
And you say that interview took the whole day.
Yes, Chair.
On the 18th.
Yes.
And then after the Hawks were gone, General Lazarus called you and asked you about their visit to you.
No, Chair. When my interview concluded for the day, I'm referring to the 18th.
Yeah.
There was quite a few missed calls on my phone.
Yes.
And I'm not sure who it was, but there was a few. But General Lazarus was looking for me,
Yes.
or rather wanted to speak to me
Yes.
to see how the interview went with the Hawks.
Or he knew that you were going to be having an interview
Yes,
with the
Chair.
Hawks?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
I conceded that I admitted that the two generals, whom I referred to as General Mdluli and General Lala, that their premises were being rented by CI, and like I explained, he wasn't happy. He was quite upset.
Yes, that is General Lazarus.
Yes, Chair.
Do you want to just remind us what position General Lazarus held at Crime Intelligence at that time?
Chair, General Lazarus was the head of the Secret Service account at Crime Intelligence.
Yes. And who was the head of the Crime Intelligence at the time?
At that stage, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because General Mdluli was suspended by then.
Well, if he was suspended, it means he was head of the Crime Intelligence,
Yes.
but there would have been somebody acting in the position.
That would be correct, Chair.
So so General Mdluli was the head of Crime Intelligence, but he was on suspension.
That's correct, Chair.
You can't remember who was acting in his position.
I'm not sure, Chair. I'm not sure.
Okay. And General Lazarus, would he have been like number two in Crime Intelligence or not? In terms of the hierarchy in Crime Intelligence?
I wouldn't say number two,
Yes.
but he would be quite, he was...
Quite close to, his position, was it like one grade below that of General Mdluli, or is that something you don't know?
You could say that, Chair. He was a rank below General Mdluli. He was a CFO of the Secret Service account. So, yes, you're correct in saying that, Chair.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, if you may then continue with to tell us about the discussion that you were having with General Lazarus. You said he was upset.
He was very upset with me
Yes.
that I conceded in giving that information to the Hawks.
Mm.
I explained to him, Chair, that it was a direct question that was put to me, and I couldn't lie to them. It was an official investigation, and I couldn't lie to them.
Mm.
Nevertheless, that conversation ended there. I can't really remember exactly what transpired thereafter.
How did he show his, I think you said earlier on he was furious, and then later you said he was upset. How did he show it?
Chair, it wasn't any physical attributes, but
Yeah.
in how he said
Yes.
what he said to me, that made me believe that he was upset with me.
Okay, okay.
In the manner in which he said it to me.
Or the manner in which he spoke to you after you told him what you had told the Hawks.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay, continue.
Chair, I'm going back, or rather not back, I'm going to the 19th, which is the next day, 19th of October 2011.
Yes.
Chair, on this day, I made a decision that on my own accord, I'm going to reveal to the Hawks all of the allegations of...
All of the things you knew relating to corruption and crime and the looting of the Secret Service account.
That's correct, Chair. The abuse of the account by various members, as most of which were senior members of crime intelligence, including myself, Chair.
Oh, okay. Okay. Did you have an arrangement to meet with Colonel Rulufse on the 19th, or there was no arrangement as such, but once you made this decision, you were going to contact him?
Chair, there was an arrangement that I would meet them over these 2 days, which was the 18th. Like I said, I concluded on the 18th, and there was arrangement that I meet the next day as well.
Oh, okay. Yes, and what happened on the 19th then?
Chair, on the 19th of October, again I had to give General Lazarus feedback on how my interview went to the Hawks. Like I said, Chair, at this stage I had explained or confided in them. Going back to General Lazarus, I gave him a very watered, him a watered down version of what really transpired.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you again, Colonel Naidoo. Let's deal first with your interview with the Hawks on the 19th of October before we go to your meeting or discussion with General Lazarus after the interview.
Yes, Chair.
What happened at the interview, at your interview with the Hawks on the 19th of October? Did you tell them everything that you knew?
That's correct, Chair. At that stage, what I could, because there were so many incidents of corruption, Chair, on the 19th, what I could remember, I considered and given them that information. But all of that information that I've given to them on the 19th, Chair, and a little bit of the 18th, is contained in an affidavit that I deposed to Lieutenant Colonel Pete Fulyoon on the 25th of October, 2011.
Yes. Okay, no,
most of that information that came out of the interview over these 2 days was contained in that initial investigation. If I can call it the blanket investigation, sorry, Chair, pardon me. If I can call it the blanket affidavit that I deposed to.
Yes, I think Ms. Wenzel then can take it from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. By the stage that you deposed to this blanket affidavit on the 25th of October 2011, had you been placed into the witness protection program?
Pardon me, can I get the date again?
You said you deposed to an affidavit on the 25th of October 2011, which you call your blanket affidavit, which confirmed what you had told Colonel Rulufse on the 18th and the 19th of October. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I was already in the witness protection program by then.
Sorry, Ms. Wenzel. Let's finish first what he touched on earlier on, and I stopped him. He said after his interview with the Hawks on the 19th, he had a discussion with General Lazarus.
Yes.
But I stopped him before he could tell us exactly what transpired in that discussion. Let's hear about that part.
Yes. Colonel Naidoo, did you hear the chair? Could you explain what happened on the 19th of October 2011 after your interview?
Yes. As per the previous day, I had to again give General Lazarus feedback as to how the interview went with the Hawks. Like I explained, I gave him, at this stage on the 19th, I had given them all the information that I knew at that stage. I gave General Lazarus a watered-down version of what really transpired just to get him off my back.
Was there an arrangement between the two of you, namely yourself and General Lazarus, that after the interview, your interview with the Hawks on the 19th, you should come back to him and tell him what you discussed with them?
Chair, not really, but I felt within the Secret Service account, so he was indirectly my boss. I actually reported to Colonel Barnard, who reported to General Lazarus.
Yes, so you went to tell him on your own, not because he had asked you to come and tell him.
I can't remember the details, Chair.
Yes.
But I do remember having this conversation with him on the 19th.
And you say you gave him what you call a watered-down version of what you had disclosed to the Hawks, is that right?
Yes, Chair. Like I mentioned, on the 19th, I decided on my own accord to give the Hawks all the information that I knew at that stage, which was quite substantial, many incidents that I referred to.
Yes.
So I didn't give him all the, I'm referring to General Lazarus, my conversation with him that I had with him on the afternoon of the 19th. I gave him a watered-down version of what really transpired with my interview with the Hawks.
What was your motivation for giving him a watered-down version of what you had disclosed to the Hawks?
Chair, the previous day, I had only told him about the one incident regarding the safe premises, and he was quite upset with me.
Yes.
And on the 19th, I gave them a whole lot of information, and I don't think he would have taken kindly to that.
Yes. And he was one of the people who were implicated in what you had disclosed to the Hawks.
That's correct, Chair.
Yes, okay. So how did that meeting end, that discussion between the two of you?
Chair, it's some time ago.
He just
almost 7 years.
accepted what you said, and it ended there.
I would say so, Chair. I can't remember the details.
You can't remember, yes. Yeah. Okay, all right. Ms. Wenzel, you can proceed.
Now, you said that before you gave this blanket statement affidavit to the Hawks on the 25th of October 2011, you were placed in the witness protection program. And I think perhaps we should deal with that now at this stage. If you could have regard to page 63 of your statement that you've given to the Commission, could you please tell the Chair, being careful not to refer to names and have regard to the list of names that have been provided to you with this abbreviation, which will be FM1 to 2 or etc. Could you please tell the Chair the circumstances under which you ended up being placed in the witness protection program?
Sure. Chair, if I can just go back to the overview, and I'll get to 63 in a moment.
Yes.
Like I said, on the 19th, I had this discussion with General Lazarus. I dropped him off at his residence, and I went to my home. The next day, I picked him up, as I would normally do, because he traveled with me to his office. I dropped him off at his office, and I explained to him that I was quite tired mentally, having been interviewed by the Hawks for the previous 2 days. And I informed him that I would like to go home to rest. He agreed, Chair. After I dropped him off at his office, I decided, I'm talking about the 20th, Chair, the Thursday.
Yes.
I decided to confide in one of my colleagues, namely Colonel Barnard.
Yes.
And I confided in him, Chair, and I told him about the interview that I had with the Hawks, and also informed him that I also informed the Hawks that I'd also considered that I put in claims to the value of 100,000 rand, false claims.
Just repeat that, please. You told him that you had told the Hawks that you had put in false claims to the value of 100,000 rand?
That's correct, Chair.
Okay, all right. Continue.
Chair, during this confession that I made to Colonel Barnard, another member of crime intelligence that was present there, I'm not sure if I can mention his name.
No, it would be better if you can just refer to
pardon
the
me,
list.
sorry. Pardon
Just
me.
have a look at the list that you have. If it is somebody who is supposed to be referred to by way of FM and a number, just mention the number, the FM and the number. But I take it, Ms. Wenzel, that anybody that is not mentioned here, that is not in the list, and that he doesn't know to be an agent or informer, he could mention, but those are people in the statement.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Colonel Naidoo, you understand that?
Yes, Chair.
Yes, okay.
There was another colonel who...
So if the person that you were wondering whether you can mention, you'd have to look if you find, then you mention FM and the number. But if it looks like it takes you some time, we can see what to do. But it's not a list that is terribly long. It's one page, I think. It's one page. Okay. Do you want to check there, or is the name not there?
I do have the number, Chair.
Okay.
I would refer to this colonel as FM40.
FM40?
Yes, Chair.
40?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
He was also present when I confided in Colonel Barnard.
Yes.
With my admissions to the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Chair, at that stage, I had the impression that they were genuinely concerned about my well-being.
That is now the two of them.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah.
Initially, they were quite shocked, though, with my admissions regarding the 100,000 rand.
Now, do you think what was shocking them was that you had disclosed that to the Hawks, or what was shocking them was that you had put in claims for that kind of amount?
It was more the amount that I put in, Chair.
It was more the amount.
Or rather, I would say the admissions, Chair. Not so much the amount.
Oh, the admission, okay.
The admissions that I'd made to the Hawks.
Okay, all right.
Regarding the amount.
Okay.
And I genuinely believe, Chair, that they were concerned about my well-being. And they said that I must take care of myself, I must go home and have a rest.
This is still on the 19th of October 2011, eh?
Chair, this is on the 20th of October.
Oh, on the 20th of October, yes, okay.
Chair, which I did. I was quite tired. I was exhausted mentally because, remember, I was interviewed quite extensively the previous 2 days. So I went home.
Yes.
And I think I had a sleep for a few hours.
So the interview of the 20th also was like a day-long interview? Took more or less the whole day?
Pardon me, Chair, I didn't hear that part.
The interview of the 20th of, the interview of the 19th of October, did it last the whole day?
Yes, Chair, it did.
More or less.
More or less, because it was quite extensive in terms of what I disclosed to Colonel Rulofsa and Colonel Follion.
Okay, no, that's fine. So the two of them were concerned and asked and suggested that you go and rest.
That's correct, Chair.
And this is on the 20th now?
That's correct, Chair.
Yes, and then what happened?
Chair, I'm still referring to the 20th, the evening of the 20th, probably between 6 or 9, I can't be sure, or more or less during that time. My wife and I decided to go for a walk because, like I said, I was quite stressed out and also mentally tired from the previous 2 days. My eldest son was at home. He was asleep, Chair. It was my wife and I, and my youngest son. He was in his bicycle. We decided to go for a walk around the block, around my house.
And this was around what time of the day?
This was in the evening, Chair, of the 20th, probably between 6 and 7.
Okay. Yes, continue.
We went around the block, Chair. There's a park opposite my house. We walked around the park, and as I was getting closer to my house, I saw two of my colleagues, Colonel FM08.
Colonel FM08, yes.
Sorry, Chair.
You are looking for the other one.
I'm just looking for the.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just have a look.
It was FM08, Chair.
Yes.
And FM09.
Oh, FM08 and FM09.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, okay.
Chair, I can't remember exactly which one of them, but one of them, I referred to both of them in this incident, but one of them, and like I said, I don't know which one, I can't remember exactly.
Yes.
I saw them jumping over the gate of my house, the driveway gate.
When you saw them for the first time, were they in a car or were they walking?
Chair, there was a car that was parked in front of my driveway gate, which I recognized as one of the vehicles that I previously drove at CI as a covert vehicle.
Oh.
It was subsequently handed to one of my colleagues, FM08. At that stage was driving that particular vehicle, so I recognized it to be the vehicle that he was driving.
Yes. So when you saw the car and you saw one of them, I think you said climbing over the fence, was it when you, your wife, and your son were coming back home from the walk?
That's correct, Chair. Around the block, around the park, and we were on our way back nearing the house.
Oh,
and I noticed
okay.
one of them jumping over the fence,
And
or
the-
rather the driveway gate, Chair.
And the car was outside the gate?
In front of the gate, Chair.
In front
That's
of the
correct.
gate?
That's correct. On the outside of the gate,
Yes. And you say one of them was jumping over the fence?
that's correct, Chair. From within the property, jumping over the gate back outside. So obviously
He was coming from inside the premises?
That's correct.
Okay, yes, continue.
Chair,
Who had you left at home? Were there children that you had left at home?
it
or
was my
anybody?
eldest son. He was asleep, Chair, at the time.
Yes.
And my youngest son accompanied us on his bicycle.
Yes.
My wife walked and he came on his bicycle.
Yes.
Chair, like I said, as I was nearing the premises, I noticed this one of my colleagues jump over the fence and they got into the vehicle, Chair, that was parked in front of the driveway gate. And they started the car, sorry, Chair.
Yes.
And they started to drive in my direction, which was not very far off from my house.
Yes.
As the car approached, came nearby, I noticed General Lazarus sitting in the front seat.
Yes.
The car stopped, and he told me, I'm a very hard man to get a hold of.
That is, who was saying that to you now?
General Lazarus.
Yes, okay.
And I explained to him, I just went for a walk around the block. So he asked me to jump into the car.
Yes.
He offered my wife a lift home, and I explained to him that it was just around the corner. So I gave her the house key, and she continued together with my son. They went back home. I jumped into the car, Chair.
Yeah. Did you not ask why? at that stage?
No, he basically instructed me to jump into the car.
Yes. And yes, this was after hours, eh?
This was between 6 and 7 in the evening, Chair.
Yes. So your wife and your son proceeded to walk home and
Yes,
you jump
Chair.
into this car.
Yes, Chair.
Yes. Continue.
Like I said, General Lazarus was in the front passenger seat.
And who was driving? Do you remember whether it was FM 08 or FM 09?
FM 08 was driving the car, Chair.
Okay.
FM 09 was sitting in the back seat on the left side.
Yes.
And I jumped into the right side of the passenger, behind the driver's seat.
Yes.
And when I jumped in, FM 08, who was driving the vehicle, started to drive around the block. If I can remember correctly, General Lazarus inquired for me if I was okay. And I said I know I was indeed okay. He subsequently asked me if there's anything I want to tell him. I said no. I think if I can remember correctly, he asked me the question again, and I said no. Chair.
Yes.
Chair, if just bear with me, Chair.
Yes.
Sorry, it's a few years now. I'm just trying to get my
remember.
thoughts together.
No, that's fine.
Colonel Naidoo,
Yes.
just so that you can refresh your memory, you are dealing with events that are dealt with on page 63 and 64 onwards of your statement. If you just want to have a look there, that will also help you with the FM names of the agents, so you don't have to always look them up.
Yes, okay, that's fine. Chair, I'm also trying to just remember the events, but I will refer to
Yes,
to pages
okay.
just to
Yes.
refresh my memory as well.
In the meantime, Ms. Fensel, I just see that some of the copies here are very bad.
I apologize, Chair.
So please make arrangements. I always say to the legal team, in advance of bundles coming to me, once you have identified that there are copies that are not legible or that really are just too of poor quality, arrangements should be made, if at all possible, so that we have copies that are legible. So you can try for maybe so that next week we have better pages.
I apologize, Chair. I unfortunately was in Botswana last week when these bundles were prepared for you, but I will make sure that it's rectified.
Yes, okay.
You can continue, Colonel Naidoo.
Yes, Chair. Like I said, General Lazarus there asked me, you don't want to tell me anything. That was his exact words to me, if I can remember, according to my statement. And I said that I did not. General Lazarus then said he heard that I had made some admissions to the Hawks. Chair, I said that he got it wrong. And then he asked me, then why is Colonel Barnard saying that you admitted to putting in false claims to the value of 100,000 rand? Mm-hmm. Chair, at that stage, I admitted to speaking to I'm talking about General Lazarus now. I admitted to him that I said that I admitted to speaking to Colonel Barnard, but denied that I told Colonel Barnard that I put in false claims, or admitted to him putting in false claims.
Yes.
Thereafter, General Lazarus then told me that he had spoken to a certain pastor, Pastor Jonathan. Chair, this pastor was an associate of Mr. Marimutu, which I will deal with further or later in my statement. Or
Marimutu.
Mr. Panganathan, to me, Marimutu.
Okay.
And that this whole thing would be over soon, and I must be strong. So
I'm sorry, so General Lazarus said he had spoken to a certain pastor,
Pastor Jonathan,
yeah. And he said everything will be over soon.
That's correct, Chair.
Yes.
And that I must be strong.
Yes.
So what I understood from this, from what General Lazarus told me, is when he said that, I understood that I must be strong through this investigation, that it will be over soon.
Yes. So did it appear like to you he accepted that you might not have told Colonel Barnard that you had put in a false claims amounting to 100,000 rand?
Chair, I managed, or I think I managed to stay calm. And
yes.
I was convinced that I had convinced him that I didn't speak or I didn't make any such admissions.
Okay, yes.
So while this whole conversation was taking place, we had circled the block around the park near my house, and we came close to my house again, and FM08 drove into the driveway.
Yes.
Chair, before I could get out of the car, General Lazarus told him to reverse and to carry on driving. And from there, we proceeded to General Lazarus' house in Isandovale in Edenvale, which is not very far from my own house. Chair, as we were all getting out of the car, and I'm referring to all, it's myself, General Lazarus, FM
08 and
08
FM
and
09.
FM 09. FM 10 also arrived at General Lazarus' house,
Yes.
and we all proceeded to the Braai area.
You proceeded to
The Braai area. The Braai
the
area.
Braai
of his
area
house.
in General Lazarus' house.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay.
Chair, at this stage, there was just general conversation. I can't remember the details of it, but like I said, it was general conversation up to a stage that FM 10 made a statement that his contact at the Hawks had informed him that I had made certain admissions to them and that I'm now on the side of the Hawks.
Yes.
Chair, I again had to go into defense mode. I again denied what was being said.
Yes.
Chair, and at this stage, I started to feel uncomfortable as more questions were being directed to me regarding my involvement in the admission of putting in false claims to the Hawks. Nevertheless, Chair, I still managed to stay calm. But although remaining calm, I was uncomfortable.
Yes.
Chair, pardon me, Chair. Like I said, there was general conversation up to a point where Westfield air travel tickets were discussed.
Yes.
And Colonel FM08 said that General Henkel had requested certain documentation from him regarding air tickets. Colonel FM10 then told Colonel FM08 that he must speak to his contact, referring to the contact at Westfield Air Travel. This particular individual I know as Mahesh. I'm not sure what's his surname, Chair.
Yes.
And that they must destroy the evidence of the air tickets.
Now, okay, who was giving the instruction that the evidence of air tickets should be destroyed?
Chair, if FM08 said that General Henkel was making certain inquiries regarding air tickets from this particular service provider, namely Westfield Air Travel.
Yes.
FM10 told FM08 that he must speak to his contact at the travel agent and that they must destroy all of the invoices or related matters regarding the travel, more especially to crime intelligence.
Yes,
Chair, I forgot to mention, or I did mention, FM09 was also part of this.
Yes, you did mention FM09.
Chair, when this suggestion was made by FM10 to FM08, all who was present at the Braai area was in agreement with the suggestion. No one disagreed.
Yes.
Chair, what I can remember next, FM08 said that he will speak to his contact, whom I referred to previously as Mahesh. He worked off a laptop.
Do you want to spell Mahesh?
I think it would be Mahesh, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, I'm not too sure what his surname was.
Yes.
FM08 said that he would speak to Mahesh as he worked off a laptop, and he would speak to him to ensure that the laptop was either destroyed or damaged, so the evidence would be lost. Chair, I was later given to understand this was apparently not done in time, as I'm not sure. Pardon me, Chair. Chair, this was apparently not done in time because I was later informed that the investigators did manage to obtain certain records from Mahesh prior to him destroying
the records. Okay. And how did this gathering at the Braai area of General Lazarus House end?
Chair, if I may just go to the next incident that still happened at the Braai area.
Yes.
After this conversation took place regarding the destruction of the evidence relating to the air tickets, FM09 asked General Lazarus if he should spin a story.
Yeah.
General Lazarus did not say anything, but he nodded his head. This made me believe that he had agreed with what FM09 had suggested.
Yes.
Chair, I can't remember the details thereafter. I'm talking about the Braai area. If there was any more talk or it was just general conversation.
Yes.
But what I can say is after we had finished at General Lazarus' house, FM09 suggested that he, FM08, and I go for a drink.
Yes, okay. I think I would like us to stop there for the day. And then when we resume on Monday, you can then take us from there where there was the suggestion that you go for drinks. Is that all right?
That's perfect, Chair. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, we are going to adjourn at this stage then. And on Monday, not tomorrow, on Monday we will start at 10 as usual. Thank you very much, Colonel Naidoo. Arrangements will be made for you to be also available on Monday for us to continue.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. We adjourn.
All rise.